Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Perspectives, the Home Edition. Glad you're here. I know most of you, just like moi, we're all kind of waiting to get that magic invitation to come take the vaccine. All I can tell you is right now there's so much confusion out there. Hopefully, the health department will get this all straightened out and we can start to become inoculated, all of us, you as well. Uh, our first guest today is an old friend, somebody I've known for quite a while, and somebody I've respected so much for not only the job he's done, but everything he's gonna do. And he's one of the more talented men I've ever known in the arts. Comes to us from Tulsa Ballet, Marcello Angelini. Hello, my friend.
Hi Sam, how are you? And thank you for the wonderful introduction. I don't know if I should say anything else after that because I can only ruin it.
You know, the last time you and I had any kind of a serious discussion at all, you were really under the gun. It was a ballet performance downtown, and I wandered in, and there you were, all kinds of pressure, and you pulled it off magnificently. It was a great show.
Thank you. And after that, we went for a major international tour to Italy, Switzerland, Spain. We came back with reviews that called us one of the five most important American ballet companies, one of the top 10 American ballet companies. And so we were riding on this wonderful wave of success. And then COVID happened, and boom, from one day to the other, we shut down.
Well, we just finished the holiday season, my friend, and everybody sort of had limited celebration points, but you pulled off one of the major coups of the century. And we're talking here about the lost performance, if you will, of the Nutcracker. How in the world, first of all, did you get the idea to do it?
Well, sometimes when you are pressured, when you're under pressure and you need to come up with something creative in a very short amount of time, then all the juices start flowing and the ideas come. Um, Basically, I was talking to a friend of mine, Luciano Cannito, who is a very prestigious Italian, European, worldwide choreographer. And I told him, I said, Luciano, can you believe it? We are not going to perform the Nutcracker this year for the first time since I started dancing. Mind you, Luciano and I, we grew up in the same city, in Naples. So we have known each other since we were kids, 10 years old, 11 years old. And I said, well, what do you think about doing something from Italy, from Rome? They were in lockdown. I said, what about if you go to the studios of your company, we connect via Zoom, and you can create something for our dancers from far away? Well, Luciano first was a little bit nervous. Well, what about Zoom? I've never done it. Obviously, when you choreograph via Zoom, everything that you do going to the right, well, we see it going to the left. You use the right leg, and we see the left leg. So it was kind of an experience. But thank God we had already done a program via Zoom with a choreographer from Amsterdam and another one from Boston, Yuri Janowski from Boston and Annabello Pessochoa from Amsterdam. And so he said, you know what, let's call it the Lost Nutcracker, because at the end of the day, this year the Nutcracker has been lost for everybody in the world. Of course, the other pieces in the program were one by Makong, who was the only choreographer allowed on site, and a piece by Joshua Pio for the second company. But again, the entire program worked out like a charm. The other side of the coin is the financial side. Obviously, in we were at the convention center in a room that can seat 5,488 guests, where we sat 350. So while I'm sure we entertained our guests and I love the performance myself too, financially, we have seen better shows.
You know, in light of the pandemic worldwide, it brings to mind an old song. It's a small, small world after all, electronically. And I mean, you were able to embrace those electronics, and all of the folk within the ballet, and stepped right into it to rave reviews. Kudos, my friend.
It wasn't that easy because the other thing to keep in mind is that we are still not able to be in the same space at the same time. So we had 4 different groups of dancers learning the ballet in 4 different studios, and those dancers can never be in the same place at the same time. Of course, dancing with masks, which reduces your oxygen intake by 30%, 40%. And so the first time we were on stage sort of together was when we went to the convention center. But even there, we couldn't be on the same stage at the same time. And so as one group was exiting, we had to create holding areas for 3, 4 different pods of dancers. As one pod exits from one side, the other one comes in from the other side, and we need to find a place for this pod to wait until they can go back on stage. I mean, the traffic backstage, we had a 4 pages of trackside backstage for the dancers to move around. So it was complicated, but we did it. Everybody was safe, audience and dancers alike. So thank God for that.
I'm assuming you got a lot of feedback from the folks here at home.
Yes, we did. It seems like this is a time that everybody wants to get out of the house and do something that resembles normality, but at the same time makes them feel safe. And so the feedback was basically, thank you for this wonderful performance. It made us forget about COVID for an hour, and also we felt very safe. Now, you need to know that before we started, we hired a consultant, an infectious disease physician, and not just an infectious disease physician. Dr. Jaggers is she's an infectious disease physician. She is the former head of the Duke's fast response infectious unit. She advised a couple of White Houses. I mean, she is a genius in her field. And so we hired her and we said, Dr. Jaggers, what can we do safely for our dancers and of course for our audiences? And usually every time we have a conversation, she starts with, now you're not going to like what I'm going to say. Those are the first words that come out of her mouth. And sure enough, every time I never like what she has to say. But again, if we have to reduce the audience size from 5,400 to 350 to keep everybody safe, well, that's the right thing to do. So there are no questions there. How to make it work financially is our job. How to keep everybody safe is something that I rely on her to tell us.
I can only imagine when it was all over, as soon as you got home, you uncorked a bottle of wine and clambered out to the deck. Am I right?
A bottle of wine, bottle of wine. I have been ordering a case of wine, but Daniela, my wife, my better half, she loves Pinots from Oregon, and so I order wine for her directly from Oregon. I have been ordering a case of wine a week. Not that we finish it by the end of the week, but I had so much wine that I knew that no matter what happened, I had some wine there for me to relax.
Well, tell me something. How did the Tulsa principals feel first going into this, and how did they feel when it was over? I mean, surely they had to recognize they were breaking new ground here.
Yes. It has been difficult for everybody. First of all, the uncertainty. We know that if one dancer gets sick, well, at least one pod has to be isolated. So every single pod had to learn every single piece in the program. And then the uncertainty that if more than one dancer in 2 different pods gets sick, well, we have to cancel the shows. So the first thing that we did, we came together and I asked everybody, guys, are you okay with the commitment of living in a bubble, even though we are in pods, but really, are you okay with not seeing anybody outside your group, your pod, for the next 3 months? Because if you are, we can produce dance. But if you feel that it's too much of a sacrifice, I'm not going to judge, I totally understand, then we cannot continue. And everybody, sure enough, I mean, that's the thing I love about this group of dancers, and I will not hire anybody that is not like that. They are totally dedicated. They realize that a lot of other companies, the vast majority of other companies in this country and around the world, they're not dancing. So I call this generation of dancers the lost generation, because they will be off dancing for a year and a half. Some of them will change job, others will go to school, and others, when they start again, it's going to take another year and a half to come back. So they realize that the choices were really sacrifice our personal lives and continue dancing, or sacrifice our career. And this group of dancers is passionate about what they do. So they all said, absolutely, we are in. And I am so proud of them. I mean, for 3 months.
And well, you should be. I can almost envision each one when it was over, when the realization finally hit home of what they had accomplished. I mean, it had to be an emotional rush.
They have been very emotional throughout this entire period. The first not dancing, and then again, every time the performance finished, the atmosphere backstage was one of amazement and satisfaction. Sometimes dancers we are very particular, because we say that dancers are always tired and never satisfied with their work and the roles they get. Well, this year everything has changed. There has been a realization that every time we go on stage, it might be the last time we are there for a while. And so they're appreciating every moment on that stage. And as a function of that, the performances have been so exciting, and the quality has been so high, show after show. I have never seen them perform so well.
Well, we've only got about a minute, and I've got to draw something out of you in this last minute. What's next? What's on the drawing board for the next show?
Yes, we are going to produce another program with the work by Andrew McNichol, British choreographer. He's going to create this work from London. They are on lockdown, so from his house in London. A piece by Yuri Janowski for the second company that was supposed to premiere last April. And a piece by Jennifer Archibald, Parhelia. She created Parhelia 2 years ago for the company. It's perfect for the concept of pods, and so we're going to stage it for the company.
Well, listen, thank you, and thanks to your crew, thanks to everybody that rallied together to make this happen. And I give you a word, when you start to do the next one, you start to get ready for it, please give us a signal so we can kind of be in on the ground floor. All right?
Fantastic. Thank you, Sam. Nice seeing you.
Good to see you, my friend, and my best to your family.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.